So,
Right.
today again with another one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, but hey, life is such interesting thing. It's so unpredictable at times because we were supposed to obviously do another episode last week, and then life started to life, and we had to put it off. But hey, we're here.
We're here. Consistency again is the key. Trying your
Mm-hmm.
best despite whatever life throws at us.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
without further ado, and taking this time right now, this moment, to say happy birthday, second birthday to Legacy of the
Yeah.
King.
Yeah.
Thank you all
Honestly,
for
honestly,
this.
we really wanted to do an episode for like I said, the King's second birthday, but
Yes.
again, life.
But yeah,
But we're here, and happy birthday, happy second birthday to like I said, the King. Not many podcasts make it to birthday number two,
correct,
but
correct.
we're here, and I am extremely grateful that we're still here.
Yes. So
Yeah,
am I.
yeah. Despite all the
Challenges.
all the challenges that life tends to throw at us, we're still here, and I'm really, really happy for that.
Yeah. So again, thank you guys for your continued support, for joining us. Um, for those of you who join us religiously, for those who are interested in the program occasionally, all of you, all of the audience, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your shares, your comments, your likes,
Your tips,
your tips. Yes, we all take it in good stride,
yeah, definitely, definitely,
and we're all grateful. We're both grateful for all of it.
yeah,
So thanks again, and thanks for joining us on yet another episode.
hmm yeah,
So today's episode, we talk about correlation of physical activity, may it be whatever, whether it's sports, whether it's martial arts, whether it's outdoor activities, yoga, even um, all of those things.
mhm.
The correlation of that to mental health.
Alright. So
Mental health.
before we get into it, I want to ask you, Henrik, what was it that made you decide to choose that topic? What was the reason?
Well, I have a very fitting answer for that because you had mentioned it from the very beginning, well, a couple of minutes ago. Life. When life decides to life and sends all the lemons at you, and you're fed up making lemonade, right? You have to have something deeper within that drives you. And part of that is linked to physical activity
Yeah.
in the sense that, and I'll talk for me personally, having or being sitting or having sitting at a 8 to 4 job all day, every day, well, for 5 days a week at least, you're inside four walls. And there's not much movement outside of what is necessary, which is, yeah, well, you're on a chair, so you're rolling around. Um, you may get up, you may walk around, whatever the case is. But last week's, linking back to the last episode, I should say, we spoke about last episode or two, um, us being, as human beings, being part of nature. if you observe everything in nature, everything is moving, always moving. Nothing is really stationary. And if we decide to go against nature, we end up in problems.
Dubai.
So so one of those things includes movement, physical activity, you know, being able to be flexible, to be, I don't want to say on the move all the time, but certain types of movements, especially like to help for your with your back, to help with your posture, to help with different things. Some of the movements also help ground the energy, um, as well as being part of nature in nature. So we had mentioned spending time in nature, spending walking on grass, walking on dirt, things like that. Um, we also spoke about the effect of those things on mental health. We touched a bit on it as well, and the connecting of nature and movement to mental health. It really does something. It almost like, and you could probably expand on this a little more. Um, Triggers something in the brain, all the serotonin and all the different things. It activates something different as opposed to, even though other things may do that, it gives a different effect. You know, and again, coming back to my personal experience, when the thing about the 8 to 4 is that some of us may choose to work at 8 to 4, others because we have been influenced into working at 8 to 4, and we decide, for whatever reason, we decide to do it regardless. And without realizing, or even if you do realize, it's like at some point you're going to end up feeling stressed.
Yeah.
You're going to feel the burden and the pressure of the traffic. You're going to feel the burden of the pressure, and I'm talking about both morning and evening. You're going to feel the burden and the pressure of the actual job itself. You may or may not, depending on your level of consciousness, you may or may not um, be aware of that you need to get out and find some way of doing so, actively and consciously working on it. Uh, and some people go to gym, as I would have mentioned. Some people do yoga. Some people do some kind of physical activity, martial arts, whatever the case is. And all of that is in an effort to alleviate the stress. And in that effort to alleviate the stress, there is flow, there's movement, there's um, reconnecting, reconnecting with movement, reconnecting with nature, reconnecting with all these different things. So that is really the reason why I decided to talk about this particular topic. Why the idea came to mind, um, and also one other thing I forgot to mention is that the effect of all those things, the movement, the exercise, whether it be gym or um, martial arts or yoga or some kind of physical activity, on the mental health. So it would not only reduce stress, it would calm that, what's the word? aggravated mental level. I don't want to use stress again, but that aggravated mental level, and basically have some form some kind of resolution to coming back to some kind of equilibrium, some kind of reset.
Yeah. So
Because often find
essentially, you're talking about trying to calm an overworked brain.
yes,
Yeah,
not to mention the stimulation as well, and the overstimulation that we usually get
yeah,
externally from social media and other things as well.
yeah,
And those because oftentimes we find when you do those activities that you feel okay to some level, or you feel you come back to some restoration point that you could go again, basically, for another day, for
yeah,
another week, another month, etc., etc.
yeah.
So that's why I decided to choose this topic.
And it is an interesting, well, I shouldn't use the word interesting. It's an important topic to talk about because it's a topic that we tend to overlook as men
Mhm.
when it comes, especially when it comes to exercise. Because men and women, we see our physical appearance very differently. A woman could have a, a healthy body fat percentage. She looking good, have her clothes fit and nice, but she will go in the mirror and she would think she's fat. And then there's the man who would be 60 pounds overweight and think he's Idris Alba. He's 60 pounds overweight. Men don't go to the doctor until we're on the brink of death.
Mhm.
We tend to ignore every sign that things not too right. We tend to ignore the fact that, I eat a little too much KFC, or I don't have enough fruits and vegetables in my diet, or I'm drinking too much alcohol,
Or Coca-Cola.
or Coca Cola, or any carbonated beverage for that matter. And at that point, you know, we have to say now that this is something that we have to stop overlooking. This is something that we have to stop ignoring. Because if we don't, we'll continue to have the prevalence of all of these non communicable or lifestyle diseases that we see, especially in men all the time. You see high blood pressure all the time, you see diabetes all the time,
Yeah.
hypertension all the time, prevalence of stroke, prevalence of lung cancer, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, kidney failure, and all of these different things, prostate cancer.
I can't remember if you mentioned heart attack, but the amount of
Yeah,
heart attacks that
yeah,
happen now.
heart attacks or in general cardiovascular diseases. And the
Mhm.
majority of them are non communicable or lifestyle related diseases because of the food we eat and the fact that the majority of us are in sedentary jobs. We sit at a desk for 8 hours on a day, right? 8 hours on a daily basis. We sit at a desk, we barely get up. The only time we get up is to have lunch or use the bathroom. Other than that, we sit at a desk for 8 hours. And then when we leave work, we go in a car and we sit in traffic for another 3 hours. And then when we get home, we sit on a couch and watch television for another 4 hours. And then we go lie down. Like you realize how much sit I just mentioned?
Yep.
Like it is like when you really think about it, We are literally sitting our way to the grave.
Sit and wait in there.
Yeah, yeah, we're sitting waiting to die. And, it seems as though I'm always blaming society. However, civilization has made us lazy. Moving is an option now. Before, moving was a necessity. You had to move to get food. You had to move to find shelter. You had to move to be safe.
Correct.
Now, movement is an option. You could just sit. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to move. And we don't realize the benefits of moving and the consequences of not. Right? All the things that I mentioned before, like the lifestyle diseases, consequences. Benefits, a lot of physiological benefits, but the most important ones to me are reduction of cortisol, which is stress hormone, reduction of blood pressure. And that's just two of many.
Correct.
Right? We're not talking about the the positive effects on mental well-being, because like we could take it from our experiences. Sometimes we would have stressful days or stressful weeks at work, and then we get to the gym and we push out a serious workout, and at the end we're tired, but we feel like all of the stress of the day just went away. You're tired, but you still
Rejuvenate.
feel good. You
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
you feel you feel good,
Mhm.
And sometimes, like, we don't even want to go to the gym after the stressful day, but it's like, let's go still. You never know. Like, we'll take it easy. Take it easy. We never take it easy. We end up fighting wild, and at the end of it,
Feel
we
good.
yeah, you feel good. So it's definitely a topic that we really, really need to talk about. We really need to encourage men to get up and start moving again, understanding that what you don't use, you will lose.
Definitely
I've,
lose.
I've been saying it for years, and we've heard it from many people everywhere for as long as we've been alive. If whatever you don't use, you lose. You don't use your joints, you lose your joints. You start to get joint pain, and you can't move your knees, and you
Arthritis.
can't squat, and you get arthritis. And if you fall, you break something
Mhm.
because the joints they stiffen up because you're not using them. Like, there are many guys our age, we're now mid 30s guys. Many guys our age can't rest in a squatting position. Like to just squat and whew, I'm resting right here. And I'm not going to move forward. Many guys can't do that. They have to sit down on something. And
We
the squat,
we even sit in the gym.
yeah, and the squat is a resting position. Many of us can't like touch the middle of our back with our hand.
Or our toes.
Oh yeah, can't touch our toes. If you walk up the stairs, you're breathing hard. Like two flights of stairs. And
Yeah. Hand on the hips and
hand on hips. And I know what's the first thing we say, and that's to show you how it definitely correlates to mental well being as well. Oh boy, you're getting old, boy. No, you're not getting old. You're unfit. You're unfit. How about instead of using the steps all the time or the elevator all the time, you use the steps?
Correct.
How about before you head home, wherever you live? I'm going to bet anybody that no matter where you live, somewhere on the way home, there's a savanna
Or feel, or at least
or
some
a
open.
field or something, some open space where you could go and you could walk. You don't even have to run. You don't have to do nothing extreme, but just move. Just walking reduces the chances of you getting a heart attack. Just walking. We ain't talking about going to the gym or buying protein and getting kettlebells at home and buying a yoga mat. We're not talking about it.
That is not like
We're just talking about having a pair of running shoes and one track pants and going out twice a week, not even four times, twice a week, and do 2 to 3 laps, depending on the size of the field nearby, 2 to 3 laps. Work up a sweat and then head home.
and
That's the bare minimum. There's the simplest thing that you could do. Bare minimum.
let me just season this with an idea here. So the that little piece of um time that you take to do the walking, you could also reduce the stress of traffic as well. You can take that time
Exactly.
off from traffic because you know there's a particular time frame where the traffic is there on the road. You could more than adjust your schedule to suit.
Yeah.
So you're reducing stress by walking and you're reducing stress from the traffic.
Yeah. Because, okay, take for example, I know we have international listeners, but I'll just use the example for Trinidad because this is where we live. And I could try to use an example away because both of us lived away. So based on where we lived, we could give an example of that as well. Right? So for example, in Trinidad, the majority of people work in the capital, Port of Spain, regardless of whether they live South Trinidad, Central Trinidad, West or
Or
East.
east.
Most of the uh, most of the people employed, whether it is by the government or private companies, most of them work in Port of Spain, right? So that means generally you're in traffic for about 1 to 3 hours. So if you're
Both,
finishing work,
both morning and evening.
yeah. So if you're finishing work at 4, that means for some people they're not going to get home until 6. For others, they're not going to get home until 7. Even some might get home at 8. The time that you're sitting in traffic, you can take that time and walk Queen's Park Savannah for about an hour or two. At the end of that walk, the traffic is done. It's now going to take you about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to get home.
Correct.
So you might end up getting home faster than if you get in traffic right away,
And a whole lot less stressed.
and a whole lot less stress, because again, walking reduces cortisol, therefore it reduces blood pressure. The stresses of the day will just melt away as you're walking along because you might have some calming music in your head. Yeah, that's another thing. The music you listen to when you're walking is very important. Don't think that any music matters. Any music is any music. No. Frequencies affect you. If you want to de-stress while you're walking, do not listen to gangster rap. or Trinidad or some sad love song. No, listen to soothing music that could help you melt the stresses away. Pay attention to the environment that you're walking around.
Yes.
For those of you who walk around the Queen's Park Savannah or you walk up Lady Chancellor Hill, there's a lot of scenery for you to look at. Incorporate that, be mindful of that as you're walking. That's going to help reduce stress. All of
Really?
these things impact you positively. Just those little decisions of instead of going into traffic right away just to get home, how about I go and take a walk or hit the gym or go join a yoga class, whatever it is, but just the act of moving improves your health. It improves your physical health, it improves your mental health. It takes your mind off of things.
Again, just from my experience, you come and you now finish a hard day out. You finishing you so much so the day so hard before even you're supposed to finish at 4, you want to leave the office by 3.
True, you're still good.
That's still good because office
By
policy,
2 o'clock,
right?
mentally, I am not at work.
So just for this example, right? I'm being very modest, but it's
I'm not.
long before that. Long before that. But just so you could kind of slip in under the radar a little bit. Yeah, 3 o'clock, right? And you leave, so you hear your boss whole day in the office. You know, sometimes it may be in an aggressive manner, but it's just hurry to leave the four walls of the office space, the energy of the office, and you decide, as you mentioned, you go up Savannah, you go Lady Chancellor, you may even go Bamboo Cathedral, whatever the case is. And you may or may not have music in your ears. Just the scenery alone, right now in April, the season of Pui. In Trinidad and Tobago, the Pui trees bloom at this time from around Easter, which recently passed, to this time, and I can't remember how long going forward, maybe a month again or so, if so long. And all the various colors of Pui. I don't
Yeah,
know who doesn't like watching beautiful things in nature.
yeah.
Just the simplicity
Like let me
of,
let me see if I could pull up Pui for them to see.
yeah,
I want to pull up the Pui for people who not living here to see what Puis look like.
it's almost like the Japanese cherry blossom. Almost.
Yeah, almost. Yeah. So if you all could see that, this is what the Pui look like. We have the yellow Pui and we have the pink Pui.
The pink. And there's another type of shade, a different shade pink as well that isn't shown here.
Yeah,
But regardless, there are numerous Pui trees around the savannah,
yeah,
up Lady Chancellor, scattered in the northern range of Trinidad and Tobago, and of Trinidad, sorry. And yeah, it forms like this carpet of flowers on the ground underneath it.
yeah,
Just looks so majestic. Like the scenery for that alone, like you could literally see right now we in dry season, but we have little rain spells here and there. But out of all the brownish colored leaves on the hills, you could spot a yellow pui from very from afar.
Well, in the case of people who live in valleys or on mountains, like me, for example, when I look out my window, it's laden with pui trees. So you're talking about hundreds of pui trees. So the mountains completely yellow with flowers,
Correct.
right? So and we're kind of leaving dry season, coming into the rainy season. So like by me where I live, the mountains starting to get a little green. So
Green again, yeah.
so the green mixed in with the yellow flowers, man, it's amazing. And when you when you actually pay attention to it, like you get off of your phone, you get off of the social media for just 5-10 minutes, and you go outside and you look at nature. Like people go on TikTok and Instagram to look at nature reels when you could just literally walk outside
It's true.
and see nature in its truest form, like without filters.
Yeah. That's the best feeling, the best effects on your mental health.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's
So
free. And
yeah, and
it's
it's
free.
completely free. Yeah, and it's the same thing with the simple exercise tip. Like you're going out and walk. Like you don't have to pay to walk around a savanna or a field or anything like that. Like you just get outside. The only thing you might have to pay for is a running shoes.
Yeah.
Go and you could like this is a an e-commerce society. You just go on Amazon or wherever, or Nike or whatever, and you purchase a running shoe. It doesn't even have to be a brand name shoe. It just needs to be comfortable. And you just go and you take a walk for about an hour.
Yeah.
And that alone. And again, this is exercising in its simplest form.
Correct.
And I think that is the mindset shift for that men need to have. Men think that okay, we have to exercise, that means we have to join a gym and we have to lift heavy and we have to do all of these extravagant things, because again, this is what we see on social media. There isn't a fitness page of a guy just walking around a savannah. It's not captivating enough. You're seeing guys You're seeing like four guys strapped to each other by resistance bands, sprinting on a treadmill, each of them holding two heavy balls and they're throwing it at each other.
Correct.
Like that's the kind of things you're seeing when it comes to training. So for the average man who is probably overweight or already has some breathing issue because they have a smoking habit or a drinking habit or whatever, for them to see that's discouraging. And you're not going to see someone just walking around a savannah just saying, I just decided and I'm going to take care of my health, so I'm going to start walking. That
Not not
doesn't that
not
doesn't
only
appeal.
that, but you may find in another setting again on social media, you may find somebody hiking. They show you this extravagant waterfall, and they have this drone filming the waterfall and thing. How many people could afford drones? How many people
Mhm.
could go on hikes?
Yeah,
It's like those things. That's what social media is showing you as well. So
yeah,
just be mindful of keeping within the simple things that you could include on in your daily life.
yeah, yeah. And when you start like it's like it's essentially called small wins,
Yes.
accumulating small wins. Because when you get that first win, that first little win, that little win is going to make you want, I know, let me try something a little more challenging. The walking is cool, but it's starting to get, I think I could do more now. So let me try jogging for a little bit,
Jogging.
right? And then you start to jog. And you might only jog like a quarter of it. Then you might jog half. Then you might jog three quarter. Then you might jog the whole thing. I jog the whole thing. Let me see if I could do a second lap jogging. And that's accumulation of wins over time. That's what you're looking for. You're not looking to be Usain Bolt in one day.
Correct. Taking baby steps and you're setting little goals to achieve here and there.
Exactly. Exactly. And
Definitely.
it's also about not just the way you look, it's the way you feel, both physically and mentally, as well as being functional. Like I preach functionality. Your body isn't meant to just be there to look good. Your body is there to carry you through life. Like think of your body as a car. You clean your car every week. Why don't you clean your body? And I'm not talking about taking showers because everybody have to take showers. But
Should.
let's not get into that. Uh, Let's that's another story for another time. But what I mean by that, you go to the mechanic for servicing for your car. Yeah, you change the oil, you change the spark plugs. You get new tires. Why don't we do that for our body? Why don't we, you know,
Take care of
clean,
it.
like clean our insides out, like take a purge, like a cleanser, have a cleanse. Why don't we eat eat healthy the majority of the time? You don't have to eat healthy all the time. You don't have to completely ignore the junk, but at least, oh gosh, incorporate some fruits, some vegetables. Drink a little more water because a lot of people don't drink water. They're dehydrated, literally dehydrated.
Yeah.
Some people say they don't like water because
Well,
they become addicted to sugar so much that they can't stand something without sugar.
correct. And even AC, the air condition, dehydrates you.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
your office whole day, 8 hours,
hmm
5 days a week, you're dehydrated.
yeah. But people don't drink with the water in the AC because they think that drinking water would make them feel even colder.
Correct.
Yeah, it might, but it but it
Bathroom.
it kind of reduces the dehydration. So yeah, you might go to the bathroom, but it's better you go to the bathroom because you're drinking water rather than you don't go to the bathroom and you're dehydrated.
Yep. Causing more harm than good.
Yeah, and we haven't been convincing yet because I know like guys might be watching this and they're like, but I don't feel to do that. Like after work, I just want to go home and relax.
Yeah.
And this is the mistake. They relax and recover for the next day. Relaxation and recovery is not the same thing, right? Relaxation and recovery isn't they aren't the same thing. Recovery is an active thing. Relaxation is a passive thing. When you're recovering means you go and you stretch because your back has been in that chair for the past 8 hours.
Not only
Relaxing
not only in
is
the
sitting
office, but in
in
the
the
car
car. Yeah,
as well.
yeah. Relaxing is sitting not in a chair, but on the ground and taking deep breaths. Not meditating, just taking deep breaths. Doing that alone reduces stress. And the people don't see the benefits of it now because it's like, what is doing for me? It's not doing anything for me. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean something isn't happening. It's kind of like when people get heart attacks or strokes or whatever. Like yes, they have the occasion where like the heart attack or the cardiac arrest is because of some hereditary condition. But for the average man or the people that generally get heart attacks, it's because of lifestyle. The heart attack did not come on instantly. That heart attack was an accumulation of things over the course of time.
Mm.
It's an accumulation of things over the course of time. So just as you can get a heart attack because of an accumulation of bad habits over the course of time, you can have a longer life because of good habits accumulated over the course of time.
Yeah. So for you mentioned guys asking themselves, well, how can this be beneficial to me? You know, and my question, even though you say you're not supposed to ask a question, answer a question with a question, my question is, why not try something different? In order for something new and different or some kind of change to happen, you must do something different than what you're accustomed doing. So
Mhm.
why not try that? Try it, as I usually like to say, try it before you knock it.
Mhm. And
If, if it doesn't work for you, then at least you can say that you
mhm.
have tried it.
Yeah. Another thing I've also realized about people in general, um, we don't really care about ourselves. However, we care a lot about certain other people. So I have this to ask you men. Okay, it doesn't. How does it benefit you? It may not, but it may benefit your little son or daughter that looks up to you and loves to play with daddy. What if you're not around to play with them anymore because of not making that change in your life?
Hmm.
You want to know why I'm bringing that up? Because I lost my father because of that.
Hmm.
And I don't want to be the one to continue that cycle. I want to create a new cycle. I want my children to have me around, healthy, and not putting burden on them to take care of me, be there. So at the end of it, we have to realize that we're not just living life for us, we are living life for the people that we love as well. Your son or your daughter or your wife. That's who we living for because we are the providers and protectors.
Yes.
So you have to think of the people that you have in your care a lot more than yourself. If you don't think of making that change in your life because you don't feel that it's doing anything for you or I can't do that, you're being selfish. Like plain and simple, you're being selfish. It's not like back in the 70s and 80s where there wasn't one set of information coming out about moving and taking care of your health and all of these things. Now more than ever, people talk about moving, and you're still not doing.
Yeah.
Forget you. Forget yourself. Think about your 4-year-old son or your 4-year-old daughter, or however old they are, teenager, however old they are. Think about how they would feel to see you leave them because of your indecision relating to your health.
Yep.
You don't you don't de-stress properly. And because of that, you get a stroke. You are sedentary for most of your life, and because of that, you get some cardiovascular disease. You need to think about we need to be a lot more selfless when it comes to the decisions that we make in life. And this is not just health, this is also relationship. People get into relationship for themselves now. They get into a relationship because they think they would look good with that person on their arm.
Facts.
We need to realize that we are a social animal. Yes, we were born alone, and yes, we will die alone. But that time that we're here, we'll never be alone. And everywhere that we need to go with people that we care about.
Correct. So I want to share two comments, maybe three, all based on experiences, um, spinning off of what you just mentioned about not living for us. Right? One of them, not really related, but I remember. So I'll start with that one first, actually. So this weekend gym, when I went in gym, I was both a bit happy, but also it was a bittersweet moment because the amount of people in gym that it had, it almost led me to question whether carnival was coming around again. As you know, gyms
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
there's be packed only for carnival, mostly for
yeah,
carnival, leading up to carnival, right?
yeah,
Because for some reason, people like to think that they could get fit and have this quote unquote beach board or summer board
in two
for
weeks.
national audience between anywhere between 2 weeks to 2 months, right? So I was glad to see that there was a lot of people. However, I was also not glad because I didn't get a chance to be on any of the machines. So, right? Um, so yeah, so that was one thing that I wanted to mention. Another thing was based on my experience. I remember having a conversation with an acquaintance of mine a couple of years ago, um, who had recently um, fathered a daughter. Right, he got a daughter, came into the world, and apparently, well, he was a little older, and his comment to me was, "Make sure and have children from now." Now, his statement, his reason for saying that, eventually came out shortly thereafter, where he said that to be having a child running around the place, right, and you complaining about your back, or you complaining that you can't bend down too low to pick up something, right? That's really embarrassing. I never want to have to experience that.
Yeah, and to add to that, a lot of us here we take it as a joke. Like it's funny.
Yes.
It's funny that You're getting into your mid to late 30s, early 40s, and your back stiff, or you can't stoop, you
Okay.
can't
Someday.
you can't bend properly, your knee giving you problem. We take it as a joke that and we take it as though this is part of getting older. No,
You
this is not
think it's
part of getting older. That
yes.
that is part of getting lazy
Correct.
as you get older. That's what that is. Because
Yeah.
there are a lot of 70-year-olds and 80-year-olds that more flexible than half of the 30-year-olds and 20-year-olds right now.
Yeah.
Like um, I look at uh, my father-in-law. My father-in-law is in his 70s, and he would be lying down on the ground watching television, watching football, and he's ready to get up. He just lift up his legs and just swing and get up and walk off. And I was like, "You sure you're 74?" But that's just to show you, it's not about your age. You want to know something? Habitually, for the past 40 years, he has been exercising 4 times a day, whether it be running for miles, playing football, going on a treadmill,
Hmm.
whatever it is, working in a garden.
He
He
moving.
has been moving for the past 40 years. So his joints still jointing.
Mhm.
As opposed to you who sit in a desk for 8 hours, then sit in a car for 6 hours and want to know why your back stiff. Like, come on, think about it. If you're not using your back is not going to move,
Yeah.
right? If you're not exerting your heart muscle is going to get weak. If you're not using your muscles, you're going to lose your muscles.
Hmm.
And skinniness does not equate to health because
Fact.
there are a lot of unhealthy
Skinny
skinny
people.
people. A lot. It's not about it's not about weight. Everybody say, I need to lose weight. No, you don't need to lose weight. You need to have a healthy body composition. That is what you need.
Yes.
Because
Also,
there could be a 200 pound, 6'1" man that has a very healthy body composition, and there's another man, same height, same size, same weight, quote unquote, that is completely and totally unhealthy.
hmm, yeah. I want to add to the point that I made with the experience with the guy who told me about his daughter. The another thing, at least guys in Trinidad tend to mention. I've heard it from a couple of women as well. In your 30s, and you also mentioned it, in your 30s, but you're saying that you're getting old.
Yeah,
When you say that you're getting old, you are programming your brain to do just that. So you're tracking that because that was exactly what he said. He said to me as well as what he was reiterating without saying it as well. That he getting old. And he was of the because of that mindset, he was of the view that I shouldn't get old before having children. So, but we need to stop programming our mind like that as well. Because that in itself is, even though it's another topic, um, that has a very important part to play in the construction of it, and
Yeah.
how you're going to operate, how you're going to see yourself,
Yeah.
and the things that you do.
Yeah. I agree 100%. That actually reminds me, like, so I've been working on on something, right? And I'm going to share a little bit of it, um, because I think it ties into what we're talking about now, as you mentioned in the programming.
Mm.
You know? And I think we need to understand how important our self talk is when it comes to what we want in our life. We don't realize how the things that we say about ourselves is literally self fulfilling prophecy. Right? Like, so for example, right? We want, let's say, okay, we want to be wealthy, for example. But you know what we say? I wish I was rich. I wish I had $1 million, right? I wish I could have won the lottery.
Yeah, I was not gonna say.
I wish,
Actually, I heard that.
I wish. But we sit at home. We don't even play lotto. But I wish I could have won the lottery. Like we wish. We just wish. And I wish I could run and jump like that. But now I getting old. You know what you need to do? And this is something that I wrote. And you have to sit quietly without distraction and direct your mind to the ideal physical outcome that you would want in your life. It doesn't have to be like some super elite athlete or something like that. But describe your ideal physical condition in detail to yourself and write it. And then what you need to do is gradually, not drastically, doesn't have to be drastic, because sometimes drastic can be kind of difficult to maintain. But gradually curate your environment to get yourself into doing the habits that will get you to the physique that you just described. So whether that means, okay, I prefer to work out at home. I don't want to walk around the savannah. Okay, so what you can do, you can either pack a bag with clothes and go to work, change in work. So when you get home, you're already in your workout clothes, just to drop everything and go outside and work out. Or when you get home, you put your workout clothes in in a place where you can see it. It's readily accessible. That and all you need to do is just change your clothes and go outside and work out. Reduce the amount of junk you buy. You don't have to completely cut out junk. If you used to buy 2 packs of the big cheese sticks, buy 1 pack of the big cheese sticks. If you used to buy 4 Twix, buy 2 Twix. If you used to buy the big liter of Coke, buy two 750 mls. Oh no, that's a bad example. Buy one 750 ml. Yeah, my maths wasn't maths just now. Sorry, but you get the point. The point is you try to design an environment actively that will get you to do the things that you need to do to get to the place that you want to get to. And then another thing is you have to remove distractions that will prevent you from getting there. So, for example, one of the things that I struggle with is that okay, I find that I want to train at home, but as soon as I get home and I take off my clothes, I would check my phone.
Mm,
And as soon as I start checking my phone, I end up in mindless scrolling mode.
yes.
And before you know it, 6 o'clock becomes 9 o'clock, and the time that I was supposed to be working out is gone.
How
So
many
when
people fall into that category? I
you,
myself.
95% of people, could be more, fall into that category. So what you need to do before you leave work, um, reach out to everybody that you need to reach out to, that you normally talk to on a regular basis, whether it be your wife, your children, your parents, or whoever it is. Okay, I'm going to work out now, so I'm going to take off my phone, just letting you know. Leaving work now, whatever, so on and so forth. I will message you when I finish work out. Everybody say okay, okay, cool. Take off the phone, go and do what you need to do. So when it comes to, normally you would press the side button or you tap double tap and you realize the screen ain't coming on, nothing happened. Okay, all right, cool. I can just let me rest my phone and go and do what I need to do. So now you're breaking the habit circuit. You're breaking the habit circuit, and now you could replace that with something new. And the something new is, let me put on my workout clothes and go outside.
Hmm. And you
And if you
instill
could,
discipline. You
yeah,
instill discipline.
you're instill in discipline, right? And just doing that, well, they say it takes on average 30 days to create a new habit. It might be less, it might be more, but they say on average that is the time frame to create a new habit. You do it for 30 days, hey, boom, new habit. Do it for a year, lifestyle change, lifestyle improved.
Hmm.
Do it for 2 years, well, we're just flying.
Correct. So I would like to um to state this: it's not new year, new me. It's new habits, new me.
Exactly, exactly. So all of those New Year's resolutions, guys, if you really want change, is not about okay, like in this one moment,
Hmm.
I'm deciding to make, I'm going to do this, but you don't have a plan of action. You just jump head on into, okay, I'm going to get a six pack by December next year. That is my New Year's resolution.
And it's
January
a
come,
drastic change.
yeah, and January come, and you get a gym membership, and you head to gym for the first time, and you think and you ask for exercises, and that first week you think and you went to gym, you feel accomplished, and then next week, I ain't feeling to go today, I will go tomorrow.
I pushed hard last week.
Yeah,
Had
taking a
to.
rest today, I will go tomorrow. And then tomorrow come, ah boy, I feel tired, boy, work was real hard today. I'll go Wednesday. And then it's halfway through the year and you didn't go for the past 6 months.
Hmm.
So you have to realize if you want change, you have to plan for it. You have to act like this is a everyday thing. You have to actively design your life. You have to actively design your life. Because if you don't, somebody is going to design it for you to do their thing
Correct.
for them. It's that simple. So whether it is you want to be wealthy, you want to have a healthier lifestyle, better physique, um, more mental clarity, more peace, better relationships, get out of that dead end job, whatever it is, You have to plan for it. You can't just say it. You can't just say, I'm fed up of here, and you never do anything to get out of here, wherever here is.
Mhm. Like how many times we said we need to be the change that we want to see anyway.
Yeah. Like we always quarrel about how horrible our boss is, or how horrible the economy is, or the government is, or this or that, or whatever. But
And you always
at the
need
end
some
of the day, we are worried about everything that's going on out there, but we don't take care of here, in here, in your mind, in your body, in your
yeah,
spirit, in your home, in your neighborhood, in your family. We're not trying to fix that, but we're worried about what the government is doing outside it. If you fix what's going on inside of you and around your immediate vicinity, if everyone does that, maybe the government might change. I don't want to say it will. It might.
there was sorry to go back to this, but there was one other example based on my experience that well actually it's a conversation that something you would have told me actually. Going back to the remember I mentioned two things before. One was the the person who had the child and the other one was Jim. The third thing which I forgot just came back to mind was that you would have mentioned to me in a scenario whereby, and this is on the topic of functionality as well and functional training. In a scenario, there is a disaster of some sort. You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, yeah.
If there was a way to escape, like if you had to run and climb over something, run up a wall, scale a wall, jump over a wall, jump over some kind of thing to escape whether a tsunami, a earthquake, whatever it is, right? How many people in society would be able to do that? Or how many people would actually die?
A very good question. Well, the people could answer that for themselves.
Yes,
I
I'll
could
just
say
leave
that.
that. I'll just
Yeah,
leave that here, right?
yeah. The people could answer that for themselves. Yeah,
Because
ask yourself the question: If there were, if let's just say the world goes to shit in a
yeah,
handbasket, how many of you would be able to survive without cell phone, a car, and you have to hunt for your food, and you have to grow your own food, and you might have to scale a wall, or you might have to climb a tree, you might have to get across a river somewhere. Like, how many of you would survive the week? Survive the day. How many of you would survive the day? That's something you have to think about. Again, society, not society, civilization, quote unquote, has made us lazy, and it has made us less human. People think that because you climb a tree or you build a hut out of mud and sticks, that you're primitive. But I would argue that we are more primitive now than then, because now they could learn what we could do, but most of us can't learn what they could do
yeah,
because they're very intelligent. It's just that they're not exposed to the things that we're exposed to. And if you teach them, they learn. But if they try to teach us how to hunt a lion or how to catch us a freshwater crocodile, half of us might die before we catch that freshwater crocodile. And it just shows you how a lot of the things that we have been taught as children, as adults now, we have to realize that some things just don't serve us, and they never did. It was just a matter of getting you to be the thing that they want you to be, and that's it.
Again, as you mentioned, and we have mentioned before, you don't program yourself somebody else will do it for you.
Exactly.
It's a fulfilled day again.
Yeah. So there's something again we have to think about. Okay, and it's something that you and I spoke about. You know, what is really truth? You know, you know, there's facts, but what is truth? Is truth and facts the same thing? And yes, we could talk about it in a general sense and get all philosophical, but we're talking also about, you know, your body and moving. We tend to rely a lot on the doctors. Not saying that they don't have their place. Yes, they do. But our first medicine is our food, and our ability or inability to move tends to determine how healthy we are.
And we are a product of our environment.
Yeah, we definitely are. So again, these are the decisions that we as men need to make. We're not doing this for us necessarily. We're doing this for our children or future children if we don't have them yet. Essentially, we're doing it for our legacy because your physical condition gets programmed into your DNA. And when you give birth or when you contribute to the birth of a child, whatever you are is what you send into the next generation. Something you have to think about. Whatever you are right now is what you're going to give to the next generation. So are you going to give heart disease and diabetes to your child? Like you say you care about your child. Are you going to give heart disease and diabetes and cancer and arthritis to your children? Like you care about them. You say you care about them. So like that's a question that you need to answer for yourself. Like I'm not going to answer that for you, but it's something for you to think about. So we have to realize that, relying on well in Trinidad, free healthcare. Uh, like, is it something that you really want to rely on,
Free health, yeah.
or you want to have your health in your hands? I think it's better to have your health in your hands. And even if you have the means to go private for your healthcare, still, wouldn't you rather spend that money on something else rather than on treatment for some lifestyle disease?
Correct.
That money could go towards your child's college fund if you want to send them to, or if they want to go to college, or it could be an investment in some investment property or in some business for your child, rather than going towards treatment for a lifestyle disease. Think about it.
Which could have been prevented, yeah. Yeah.
So again, do you really care about your children? That's a question for the guys out there to answer. And like on a mental uh, on the mental side, do you want to go into depressive states? Remember, you care about your children. Do you want to leave them because of that? Because the stress is too much for you to take? Again, something to think about. If you really care about your children, you're not going to leave them like that.
Hmm. Remember, they will be representing you. They'll be carrying your name, your DNA going forward.
Yeah.
Your legacy, our legacy.
Yeah. But again, don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. Like not taking care of yourself is selfish. We know better now. Information is everywhere. We don't need to wait on a doctor to tell us, if you don't exercise, you may not live in 5 years. Like you don't want to have that conversation.
Correct.
Yeah. So, oh, and another thing, sleep. Like too much people not sleeping, man. Oh gosh, come on. Like 2 hours of sleep, and again, this is not because you're working 15, 16 hours. Like you working a normal 8 hour job. You getting home and you sit on your phone for the next 6 hours.
Phone,
uh,
TV, laptop,
Phone, Netflix,
podcast
and
again.
all of these things, and you go to bed at 12, and you have to get back up at 4, and you didn't sleep properly, and you have yampy in your eye, and all of that builds up stress in your body. Sleep is recovery.
Recovery, yes.
Sleep is recovery.
And the
Scrolling on your
best
phone, lying
recovery,
down on your bed is not recovery. Sleep is recovery, and it's the best recovery because
yes,
your body, you're giving your body and your mind chance to reset.
and rejuvenate.
That is part of a healthy lifestyle. 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Some people need 6, some people need 8. 6 to 8 hours of sleep at night. Like we have to do better. We have to. And I'm saying we because I included in that.
Yeah,
Like we're not talking at you. We're talking to ourselves as well. Because like I might do it for like 3 days out of the week. But it's supposed to be every day. You have to get sleep.
correct. As we're talking, bro, it was recalling my mind is the early episodes that we did on discipline and consistency.
Yeah, yeah,
Discipline and consistency.
yeah. And
Those
and
were
that's and that's why like I like that when we started the podcast is we said, and I think it's still on, I can't remember, but I think it's still on our page on Legacy of the King, like Kings in the, it's either Kings in the Making or Kings in Train, something like that. But we never said that we were kings. We said that we're trying to become them. You don't just call it I'm a king.
yeah,
I don't care what anybody say I'm a king. No. Kingship, leadership, that's earned by your actions every single day accumulating over time. then people recognize you as that. You can't call yourself that. I'm the king of my castle, but you're sitting down with uh, with Bigfoot crumbs on your chest or a beer in your hand. No, we have to build the habits that is becoming of a king, and that is with the habits, your mental habits, your physical habits, your spiritual habits. Like we have to master those three things. If we, or at least try to. If we don't, like what we give in the next generation, we always talk about this generation is a mess, and this generation we caused that.
How are we gonna fix
Like
it? How are we
our
gonna
the
change it?
generation before us talk about how bad our generation was. You caused that,
Yeah,
and the generation before that is the same thing.
the cycle continues. So how do we what's the word the girl used in the video? Not break the cycle, but
Create new ones
create new one.
or build new ones. You have to start with you. It all starts with you. It doesn't. It's not trying to correct what's already been done. That's like trying to straighten a bent tree. You can't. Like you have to start with you. You have to. You build better habits. Watch and like look at how the things around you will begin to change.
Hmm. In order to, it's not enough just to want better, but we need to do and be better.
Yeah, I can't believe it's already almost an hour and a half. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
I think you know before we conclude, I think we should like recap what the guys and we ourselves need to do. You have to
mhm,
sit. I think the first thing is to sit somewhere quietly and describe to yourself that ideal physical condition you want to be in. Then the next thing to do, you have to create a plan of action. That includes designing the environment actively to encourage that plan. Then you have to plan. And it doesn't have to be something drastic. It starts with something as simple as walking. Walking 3 times a week.
mhm.
Just walk 3 times a week for a month. Take off the cell phone while you're walking. So there's no interruptions. You don't distract yourself, nothing distracts you. Reduce the junk. Add some living food, some fruits, some vegetables. Reduce the junk food as much as possible. Less donuts, less Coca-Cola.
Mhm.
Um, what else? What else? What else? Sleep. Please sleep. Please sleep. And
You had mentioned nature.
oh yeah, and get some nature time.
Spend
Get
some time
some
in.
get some. You don't have to go on a hike. Like you could just go and sit in. a park, botanical gardens. Excuse me.
Not on a bench in the grass.
In the grass, like not on a bench. Um, go on the beach.
Sit on the sun, not
Yeah,
on a
sit in
bench.
the sun, not on a bench. Drink water, please. Drink water. Reduce the amount of alcohol. Take Do deep breathing for about 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a big amount. Just 5 minutes. Simple things. Kind of reduce the television and the mindless scrolling in social media. And just try that. Just try it for 30 days. Just 30 days. Right? Um, and we
And the
actually,
gradual,
hmm?
gradual progressions as well.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm working on a guide for this. I can't say when it's going to be released yet, but I'm working on a guide, and it will give you, well, a lot more detail, but it will give you as much help as you need to kind of start making those changes. Because I think we need again, we always talk about we need strong men again. We need strong men again. Constantly, all the time. We talk about it. But in order for that to happen, there needs to be a change in habit, change in lifestyle. Doesn't have to be a complete change, but there needs to be some change. You can't be
It
doing the
has to
same
start,
things over and over and over and get and expecting different results.
and it has to start with us,
Yeah,
with you, with me.
yep, yep, yeah. So that's it from me. I don't have, I don't really have anything more to add. Yeah,
We've covered the recap because I know we spoke about quite a lot
yeah,
in the short space of time. And guys, if we forgot anything, hopefully you all would look at the would have seen from before. So in case we missed anything, nothing else is coming to my mind that we have. If we miss anything, that is. And so yeah, so I guess we could wrap up at this point.
mhm,
Um, so again, we are on all these the major podcasting platforms as you see the ticker below.
yep,
Podcast, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And thank you guys again for your support and for joining us on yet another episode. And I hope to see you in the next one.
yeah. So see you guys hopefully next week.
Yes, hopefully next week. Right, again, we're trying to stay consistent and disciplined despite whatever life throws at us.
Exactly.
So, all right, guys, take care.